governance structure and the party structure of Nigeria did give powers, both residual and concurrent, on the sitting governor. The governor has a say over everything that happens in his state.
Let's look at the fact that, Ibinedion, former governor, is coming back into the fray. Is that going to change anything?
Well, whether he comes back into the fray or he doesn't come back, what we are saying is that it's because the person who had said we are retiring godfatherism in Edo State, not wanting to play the part of a godfather, that's making the Igbenedion who had been retired to come in. Who gives the respect to that man you just mentioned in Edo State? I don't think so, because I believe these are some of the persons who had actually made the APC to be able to enter in terms of Oshomole. If the Igbenedion had done so well in Edo State, I don't think we will lose Edo State to the APC.
Now, one of the reasons why there is turmoil in Edo State presently is the fact that Oshomole had wanted allegedly to bring back Pastor Izeyam, the PDP candidate in 2016, back into the fold of the APC. Now, was it the governor that orchestrated what happened that made Izeyam to decamp in his own house, which is an abnormal?
I wouldn't be able to say that it is the governor or the Oshomole that orchestrated the decamping, the new decamping of Izeyam to the APC. I believe Nigeria's constitution expresses very clearly freedom of association.
But when you look at the timing,
whatever guys I'd like to look at it, let him come and try his luck. But I'm telling you that the governor who is on seat, based on the information I have on Edo State, I don't think he's doing very well.
But is it right?
And for the very fact that he's standing against what his mentor had taught him, because I'd like to see Oshomole as a mentor to him, what his mentor had taught him, that when you get into power, do as you will.
So you think the people of Edo State are with Governor Obaseki?
I would say so. I would believe so.
But you think it's right for Obaseki to begin to pick loopholes in his predecessor? Talking about the NDDC, for instance, he's accused Oshomole of trying to use the NDDC composition of board that he hurriedly did, according to him, for a slush fund to actually have a stranglehold on the state itself, which by now Buhari has actually asked for audit. If you look at that allegations against Oshomole on NDDC, is it right? Is it something that Obaseki should be using as a weapon against his predecessor?
Let me say this way: I have never seen two people fighting and words were not spoken harshly.
To that extent.
Yeah, to the extent of
big
people.
Allegation.
Yeah, the allegation now, the president has waded into it, and so it's not just an allegation now. A clear action is being taken against such. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's one thing you should look at. Not just an allegation.
What do you think would be the relationship of Oshomole and NDDC board, for instance?
Well, of course, it's also the same relationship, the overriding relationship that that Obaseki is probably trying to outwit. You understand what I'm saying? Because being the national chairman of the party, I believe he feels, that's my own personal opinion, that things relating to the section he came from in Nigeria, he should probably have a say, at least to deciding who should go to those kind of appointments. Yeah.
If you look at the PDP in Edo State, I've been following Edo politics for a long time, and I discovered that this is one state that doesn't change its officials. I'm talking of PDP in Edo State now, and some persons are saying the misfortune of the APC in 2020 may just be the victory for the PDP.
That's essentially what politics is. When you don't have your house intact, the other party uses it against you in order to gain power. And I'm looking forward to having power change in Edo State, because this.
You want the PDP back?
Yeah, because 12 years when a government has the reason why we should want change in Edo State is not because probably I'm a member of the PDP or I'm a member of the APC. Having ruled for 12 years, I believe there are certain issues that you will have done wrongly that it only takes another party to come and correct.
Okay, let's look at beyond government of continuum, which has failed. If you look at the system of governance that we operate in Nigeria, there is no continuous system of government, as the case may be. But let's still come down to Edo State and of course the leadership struggle here. I was saying that Edo State cannot be proud of elder statesmen. Let's go to Southwest. Let's go to Lagos State, for instance. We know that the kind of power Tinubu wields in Lagos State is something that is very powerful, and as a matter of fact, it has worked for Lagos State. If you look at the revenue of the state is something that every state is trying to fight to get, because there is a system where there is a continuous system of governance. It has been a certain system of governance that they have been operating over the years, and somehow the economy of that state appears to be better off than many of the states. If you talk about workers' welfare, for instance, Lagos State appears to be top notch. When you look at all of these instances, are we now saying that Edo cannot have an elder statesman that could advise, that could take advisory role, that could say, let this person be, give this person an opportunity to actually be? Are we saying that Oshiomhole should not have a voice in the system of politics that is practiced in Edo State? Is that what we're saying?
Well, I'd like to give kudos to Jagaban, as it's called, Tinubu, for his actually, whatever way you have praised him, because that's really serious praises on your part, and I'd like to say
is it not something that you see
I really
coming from Lagos State?
That's why I'm going to answer you in the words you have said, and I really do want to say that's a great man in his own right, that's done so well. He's, over the years, people say he picks the best hands to actually rule. But of course, I'd like to say that Lagos peculiarity is not Edo State. You will have to say,
what are these peculiarities?
I will have to say.
Okay.
Now, Lagos peculiarity is not Edo State, and we should stay on that point. The reason is simple. Lagos is a metropolitan city. Everything that comes into Nigeria is a trading country. Almost everything that comes into Nigeria comes into through Lagos State, and so everyone comes into Lagos in order to make a living. The population in Lagos State is not the population in my state.
Why is it so?
The reason why it's so is simple. I've just told you. A trade center actually has all the population.
So what is stopping Edo State from becoming a trade center? From encouraging trade and investment?
The reason why what is stopping Edo State from becoming a trade center is that I do not know if you have been to Edo State. There is no waterways in Edo State. And so if there's a waterway in Lagos State where all the ships and everything comes into Nigeria, everyone will naturally migrate into where it's happening. It's the economic hub. The reason why Lagos is doing so well is not because there is one man who is playing the
Okay, let me ask you this question. Please, let me ask you this, because you said something about the economic situation and you talked about the waterways.
Yes.
Let's also look at oil producing states.
Okay.
Are we now saying that Edo State is not under an oil producing state? Because we believe in Nigeria that oil is our mainstay when it comes to revenue generation.
Can I just tell you this, that when it comes to oil producing, the amount of money that goes to Edo State from the 13% derivation being an oil producing state is not up to 1/5 of what Lagos State generates a month, compared to what Edo State earns in a whole year for internally generated revenue. You cannot imagine where over 26 to 30 million people are within a space and everyone is contributing to the pulse of the government, compared to about 3 or 4 billion people contributing almost pittance to the pulse of government. And that's one thing Lagos State, as it were, and you want to say that, well, Lagos State has grown for it. Lately, someone joked on the internet, on Twitter, that Lagos is in traffic, not traffic in Lagos. I think if you want to actually talk about growth in Lagos, if you want to talk about ease of doing business in Lagos, the business time in Lagos right now has moved from probably 7 hours to about 5 hours. You will even leave home at about 5 a.m. in Lagos, and then you get to DI, you already been hold up at 4:30, 5 a.m. These are people who are living in squeezed life. You understand me? And so if really the governance structure of godfatherism is working well in Lagos, let them solve traffic issue, and then we'll know.
In as much as you have picked at traffic issues, it comes down to, yes, it comes down to a lot of factors. Okay. Why is it that people want to leave Edo State to Lagos State? Why is it that people let me finish. I'm also going there. Ondo State people want to leave Ondo and go to Lagos.
Yes.
Why is it that you have people in Oyo State wanting to go there?
Yeah.
What is wrong with the state system?
Okay.
What is wrong with the state system? The structures of governance within the state level. How come their states are not being opened up for economic activities? Are we saying that it's only the waterways that makes your economy viable?
In a country,
why is it that we have a system?
The answer is very simple. The answer is very simple. In a country where we least produce anything, what will be the mainstay of the people is basically trade. And you are going to sit at...
What happens to ideology here? What is the ideologies of most of these people who call themselves state governors, for instance, who have been sitting on revenues of their states? Like now, if you ask most of the state governors to bring out the spreadsheet of the revenues they have generated over the years, you find out that they prefer to go and borrow than look inwardly to develop their state.
I answer you by telling you that government does not have business being in business. Even if you are going to have all the revenues of piling up into billions of dollars, government of the day will not establish an industry.
Let's come back to
it. Is still the responsibility of private individuals to take advantage of the.
Where is the climate to actually do that?
Now,
is the environment conducive enough?
The only climate where the advantage is happens to be Lagos. That's where all of us are going there.
Well, no doubt about it. Let's come back to the Edo APC crisis. When you look at Oshiomhole, judging his antecedents. If you look at the way he moved during the 2019, elections, any state where he picks up a battle with the incumbent governor, it appears he ends up losing.
It's his own fight alone.
He ends up losing that state. The party ends up losing that particular state. Do you see a repeat in 2020?
Well,
now then, let me add this. When you look at the way it works in Nigeria, have you seen any sitting governor that will engage the national chairman of his party and at the end of the day will have an way?
Well, what your question is actually an advice to the PDP that they should better use this opportunity to gain value. Yeah, I see it so, because what you are saying is that from precedents, the man has not fought better wars with state governors, and so PDP utilize this opportunity and come back.
Because Imo is just coming to my mind.
The thing is that you are now campaigning for a certain political party.
Well,
because if you look at all of these instances, are they not some of the problems that Edo State is having? When you talk about political structure, let's come down to the personalities. Who is saying that whoever comes from any political party cannot be the next governor? Who says that if an AD goes to Edo State cannot produce a candidate that will work? Is it about the political party structure or political party system?
You just said now is the reason why we are saying we agree to you to believe that there shouldn't be godfathers, so that people will not be imposed on us in Edo State.
Apart from Oshiomhole,
yes,
is there any godfather in Edo State politics presently apart from Oshiomhole?
We do not also believe that Oshiomhole is a godfather. There is no godfather in Edo State.
In Edo State, you think so?
Yes.
Now, what Obaseki is blaming Oshiomhole for, it's been said, it's been tested, it's been proven that every sitting governor, we also want to, see
have his own say
after the expiration of his tenure. So do you send Obaseki?
I do not see so. You know why? Because based on the statements of Obaseki is saying very clearly, you made us know that there shouldn't be godfathers in Edo State. We joined you to win this war, and then you supported me to be in power. The next person that is coming, I probably will support him, but I will not be his leader. I will not be a studio governor. No.
Would you say President Muhammadu Buhari has done enough? We're talking of party politics here. Would you say he's done enough to resolve this crisis?
Well, I do not know what Muhammadu Buhari is doing as president or on the personal capacity, but of course I am seeing the party probably trying to put up some reconciliation committees, which either the Oshiomhole gang or I like to call them gang now, the Oshiomhole gang or the Obaseki gang is not agreeing to the persons that are constituting.
But does Obaseki really want peace in Edo State? Don't forget, Ahmed Lawan was made the chairman of the committee. The state government now, not even the APC. And I'm just wondering, it appears in Edo State today, Obaseki is not riding on the platform of the party any longer. And so you see the government picking up the responsibility of the party.
Well, two questions you have asked. Number one, that you cannot see Obaseki riding on the wheels of the party. I can't see that. I still see him as an APC man, and I still believe he's an APC man.
How come the government is doing the job of the party? Take for instance, it took the Commissioner for Information, to reject the Ahmed Lawan-led reconciliatory committee.
Yeah, the reason is simple, because parties are made of interest, and if you probably feel that the person who is the head of the party or a reconciliation committee probably will represent the interest of the person.
He's been suspended from that party, don't forget.
No problem. No matter the suspension, some persons were suspended some time ago, and they have been
suspension has been lifted.
They have been lifted.
Let's still come down. Let's still come down in defining what an elder statesman represent in a particular political arena. let's go back to Edo State for instance. What is the role of Oshiomhole? What does it mean to be an elder statesman?
An elder statesman basically is someone who will be the conscience of the party. Someone who can say, oh, the governor has erred in this part. Let's speak to this man to bring the governor, to the right path.
Isn't it
Not-
part of their
not
responsibilities
yes.
to, find a good successor too?
Well, of course, the responsibility of getting a successor is rests with the party, and that's why I like what Wike said last week, that he is not going to install a successor when he's out.
That is political statement.
Well, everything is political. Once you are in politics, every statement you make is in politics. So it's political too. For anyone to say, well, I am going to install the next governor and he's going to do my bidding, it means you are is governance by proxy.
The
That's
question
what you're
is,
talking
must
about.
Obaseki come in as the next governor of Edo State?
Must Obaseki come
Must he?
in?
Because
Number one,
I
I'd
asked
like-
you,
Number one, I'd like to say
Is he
that
Yamu's
that decision it rested on the people of the party called APC, and if they will fairly.
I'm asking you. I don't want you. I want you to deal with this.
Yeah,
issue.
I want to.
Presently,
must
would
he-
you say Obaseki is a member of APC?
Presently, he is, because I've not heard that he has come to any other party.
Or is under suspension?
Whether he's under suspension is not expellation. He's not being expelled from the party. He is still a member of the party, whether under suspension or no suspension. He will serve his term. Of
You aren't a
suspension.
party man, are you?
I didn't hear you.
You aren't a party man. Are
I'm
you
not
a
a
party
party
man?
person.
And you seem to so much, be in love with Obaseki.
I do not probably. I'm not in love with Obaseki. I am probably in love.
Okay,
with excuse me. Let me answer that for the purpose of the people who are listening. I am in support of his stand on the fact that there shouldn't be Godfather in Nigeria.
Before we go, you made a brief description of who an elder statesman should be.
Yeah.
Would you say that Oshiomhole fits into this?
I do not think so.
Why?
The reason is simple. Well, if you probably fit into the elder statesman, having won, you should give the person the due regard to do his bidding as the governor of the state.
Don't you
I
think-
believe there are altercations.
And you think Obaseki isn't an ingrate?
I didn't hear you.
Is it not plain
I
an
don't.
ingrate?
I don't know the principles or the patterns with which you can describe an ingrate in this regard. So I wouldn't say.
We must say a big thank you to you, Dr. Cornerstone Okonofa, for your time. It's really been an interesting time talking about Edo APC crisis with you. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm grateful.
We'll take a breather now. The program continues shortly. conversation. Look at national security. It's in that white address national that is a clash between the law and it's a of course of law at quite criticism appears President is worry between rule of security your bank lecturer for your time. Thank you, sir.
Let me start off. We've seen a big country because this has affected Nigeria well for the international community. For instance, list now. Interesting, and the thing that tolerance. Just let's look at the case of El Zaki Zaki that dragged was right. Having stand that there's right. How do we tackle this and become the best communities of the world?
Very much glad to be back. To know that we prize itself as the largest black democracy. Whatever gains made in the last 2 decades. It's very sad. It's condemnable. It is not the issue of the international community. One thing that is very key, it even affects economically. This is a that is about winning investors. Those investors want to come into where you are sure the fact that they judicially expected is a way scarce would be investors. And when our acceptability we are seen as a nation that is not serious. For a times Nigeria attempted to permanent of the Security United Nations. I think this will not put us in a very
if you look at all this development, those who are supposed to be at the ends of in terms of monitoring activities, when it is told the line of you will make the NBA, for instance. What is the NBA doing to call action? For instance, government has been so accused, putting them in that dimension, of course, making them understand that when there is growth abuse for it. What is the NBA, for instance?
Well, we have the NBA that is very now at every occasion where the president refused to obey orders. We have since pronouncements. We also have to look at the fact that even within the bar itself, there are different ideologies. So the first thing is that we have people coming together to condemn that. In fact, the very day that Shore was rearrested, in that very dramatic, melancholic environment, the NBA president came out openly to condemn that a series of condemnations. But many of us are saying that beyond condemnation, to take further, so as to show the end of the day that we are a serious set of individuals. So I've said that court sessions. I'm of the view that that should be done, and you can also go as far as making other drastic decisions.
Now, would you say the NBA is enough? As custodians of Nigerian law, don't forget that at a point in time it was announced. I think when Paul Soro, the NBA president, was arrested or something at that time, the NBA gave a directive that lawyers should boycott, cities in court. But if you look at the level of compliance, you wouldn't want to say that lawyers did that. In some states, it was obeyed in some states. So it was not, you can't even call it a partial compliance. So when the custodians of law are divided among themselves as to whether the president or the government is doing the rightful thing or not, what becomes of the nation?
Well, I do not think that NBA, as it were, is divided. Like I've said, there have always been pronouncements.
So what happens when NBA asks, lawyers to boycott, court sittings, and of course you have some lawyers go to court?
Well, the fact is that as ministers in the Temple of Justice, we also have obligation to ensure that we represent certain individuals. We can see individuals suffering from grave violation of rights and the rest. So sometimes you need to weigh the two. Oh, you have an instruction coming from the NBA and somebody who is languishing in prison. But I believe that we do not have any other bar, and whatever the Nigerian Bar Association says is binding on all of us as members. Also, in the next couple of months, we expect that there will be more cohesion, and when the NBA gives directives, every member ought to.
Let's also look at the instances of signing petitions. For instance, we would have expected pressure group like the NBA and quite a number of the CSOs to come together to sign a petition against the system, maybe before the international community or international courts, to say that they are holding this government accountable. How come we've not seen this level of seriousness when we talk about holding the system, if at all they are guilty, accountable to some of these deeds?
Well, I must say that, one, I do not represent the Nigerian Bar Association, but I can only speak from...
You are a member?
I am a member.
Okay.
A member for that matter. Well, when you look at many of these activities that you see on the front border, they are actually championed by members of the Nigerian Bar Association. The learned Sikh Chief Femi Falana has been on the forefront. Is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association. And
is that enough? Is it an individual step or a force coming together?
Well, on the part of the NBA, even if you are an individual and you are taking a step and you cannot lay claim to the backing from the NBA itself, you are discouraged. But I agree that more actions need to be taken. But then to say that NBA is doing nothing may not be right.
Over the weekend, Okpoko, former NBA chairman, did say that for whatsoever reason, even if in the interest of national security, he will not want the fundamental human rights of anybody, to be trampled upon. And of course, it's in the dailies today that, such a thing is happening. I'm just wondering, what do you think can be done to solve this issue? Someone suggested that all the learned Sikh, in the President Muhammadu Buhari's government should perhaps be suspended from NBA. It was a suggestion some fortnight ago. But let's look at this. Do you agree with those who believe that the incumbent government is violating human rights?
I share in that sentiment.
Okay.
Yes, I share in that sentiment because at first you look at the fact that there are individuals as we speak who should be enjoying Christmas with their families due to the orders given by the court, and these orders have not been honored or respected by the government. If only from that point of view, I will subscribe to that conclusion. Also, there are journalists who, as we speak, cannot openly come out to profess what they believe is the truth. These are indications to show that we are not at par with what nations that are democratic should be.
What is national security?
Well, it depends on who is defining it.
Okay.
It depends on who is.
So let's look at your own definition.
Well, what I consider to be national security would be a state in which you feel that the nation itself is safe and that activities happening around contribute to the safety of that nation. However, it is not just what an individual should view as a phenomenon. Beyond what we may look at as national security from our individual biases, you also have what the law expects is a national security.
Let's look at this. about 5 United States lawmakers are to write this country. This is a sovereign state, for instance. Isn't that itself a threat to national security? Over one person, 5 senators, though we have the AGF, Abubakar Malami, deny receipt of, any petition from these ones. Over Showore, 5 United States lawmakers. I'm just wondering, has it ever happened? Have we had a case in this country that our lawmakers, we write, United States institution for whatsoever reason? There is an impeachment proceeding against President Donald Trump, for instance. We have not lent our voice for or against these, to show respect as a nation, as Nigeria now, to show respect for the sovereignty of the United States. So these interferences, are what the government is referring to.
Well, I see it in a different light. When you think as a nation that your nation is okay and that you are a big brother, when you see pockets of human rights violations, it behooves on you, on any arm of government, to make some pronouncement and to advise the country that you feel is not, living up to expectation. We know how Nigeria intervened in the issue of Sao Tome and Principe. We have had instances in which Nigeria actually played.
So US is actually not, carrying out undue interference.
What has US done? US has
let's still come down to the issue of freedom of speech. I like the fact that you mentioned that, which is a major factor in our polity. Now people are scared to, in fact, public forums, when you talk about public utterances, people are careful on the choice of words and on the choice of languages they use. Let's also look at the activities of the media. Look at Agba Jalingo, for instance. These are people who have been arrested arbitrarily, locked up. There is no court charges. They've not been put before any competent court of jurisdiction to actually handle their cases. When we have instances like this going on, where people are being picked up for saying what they know or bringing out facts to the polity, as bad as it is now, people even on forums like this are careful on the kind of things they say. Is this healthy for our democracy? How long do we be on this line? For a very long time. What happens in the nearest future if this is not tackled?
Well, over the ages, there have been several attempts to stifle the press, the media. You would recall that the Freedom of Information Act.
Is this an allegation or reality?
Well, if individuals who are carrying out their legitimate duties are arrested, or they have chosen to run for their life, as in the case of Fisayo Shoyombo, you have other individuals who, Showore is in detention for calling for what people have said is a forceful take of government. We all know that that was not his intention. That has never materialized. So when you look at some of these indices, you feel that we have actually made reversal of the gains that we thought we might have made. The truth of the matter is that the idea of trying to stifle the press is not peculiar to Nigeria. World over, there is agitation against fake speech, fake news, hate speech.
Is it done in the same manner?
But yes.
That we are handling it in Nigeria?
I agree with you. The dimension at which we are doing it in Nigeria would make people look at us as being uncivilized.
But it's not only Nigeria. Canada too is moving to curb a speech in that country and to regulate the social media.
We do not have their journalists and pressmen languishing in prison as we have in Nigeria. This is condemnable. There is no sane climb where you would see this happen. And we need to have more CSOs come openly to criticize this, because we would make no progress if we continue this way. When you have something to say and then you are unable to say that. Just about 2 weeks ago, we were at a forum where we talked about shrinking place for
civic space.
Civic space. And we looked at the fact that one of the challenges is that you see instances where individuals are arrested, sometimes without warrant of arrest. You see sometimes when individuals are arrested without being arraigned in court. Sometimes, and if you are arrested, you are not arraigned in court. Sometimes it's a bit difficult for you to be able to get your freedom, except you now tell your lawyers to go and file for for your fundamental rights, and sometimes
If you look at it, would this also lead to brain drain? For instance, now people who now feel that they are no longer safe in Nigeria, there are other countries of the world who are willing to absorb them under their immigration process. For instance, that if you feel that your home is no longer safe and you're a professional in what you do, professional journalist or even a professional health worker, and you feel, or even security officer here, and you feel that your country is no longer safe, what do you see happening in the nearest future? You see some journalists going into hiding. And of course, there are other countries of the world that are wanting to absorb people who have the professional ethics when it comes to doing their jobs well. Won't this lead to brain drain, in as much as the government feels that is a way to actually protect itself from being criticized?
I agree with you. In fact, it goes beyond people who are trying to seek asylum or to get refuge. Some countries have actually modernized it. An average ambitious young man wants to run to Canada, wants to run to Australia, wants to run to Australia. Now, it's been modernized.
What's the implication?
I agree with you in the, that'll be brain drain. However, there are other things, there are other benefits too.
Because of our time, I want you to, look at this. It appears what Nigerians, or some Nigerians are seeing is different from what the government is seeing. It appears the government sees a threat to national security. Do you see same? Is Nigeria not secured as the government is making, Nigerians to see it? Is there any threat to this democracy or national security? Can you see any?
I see. Number one, I see poverty, endemic poverty.
So poverty is actually one of the factors threatening Nigeria's national security.
As far as I'm concerned, is the greatest of all the threats.
We must say thank you so much to Barrister Dayobam Boshe, and of course we've been looking at Buhari between the rule of law and national security, and he's a legal expert. Thank you so much for being here. And of course we hope that some of the human rights abuses that this country has been accused of will be critically looked at, especially as we're heading into the new year and making the country more stabilized and for economic investment to actually strive. And this is where we're going to peg it this morning on EM Cafe. My name is Bolabo Famous School. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
And I am Arno Luapo of Morinde. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.